Hey everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan.
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 34 of the Metal and Lex podcast. Such
Hell
confidence.
Yeah.
And I remembered.
Yeah, you remembered. Our dear viewers have been with us through thick and thin. We're now at 34, which is, a higher number than we've ever been. So
It is.
Keep up the good work.
The funny thing about this is like every time we do it, it's always a higher number than the time before. Isn't that crazy how that works out? Math.
Yeah.
Sequence. Yeah. It's like it's as true as 32 being divisible by 6, man. Like there's nothing. There's no. That's the thing about math, all right, is that it's true no matter what. So. Well,
yeah, it's definitely the Street Fighter of combo systems rather than the Smash. I don't know, man.
Well, you see, 32 is divisible by 6, but they can DI out of it. So okay. So if they don't DI, it's not a true divisible.
It's not a truly divisible.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
okay,
that's
that makes sense. Yeah, at high percents.
Yeah, at high percents, the combo drops off. You have to do a whole different. You have to do a kill confirm. It's a whole thing. So anyway, in episode 34, we're going to talk about spooky spook times because why not?
It is All Hallows Eve.
Spooky spook times.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Halloween. Happy Thanksgiving too.
Thanksgiving's pretty spooky too, man.
Coming up. I have a friend who said that they were putting up Christmas decorations this weekend, and I don't want to see them. Christmas decorations, my friend, nothing.
Yeah.
Who's not here putting up Christmas decorations? If you're putting out Christmas decorations and you're listening to this show,
hella Karens are putting out those. Is who I don't.
This is so like
I don't get it. I like Christmas fine. Well, okay, it kind of depends. I like Christmas save the gift part of it. Gifts are the worst thing ever, and I hate it.
Oh, you hate to receive a gift, yeah?
Yeah, I hate receiving and giving gifts. I hate the whole thing.
You said you were going to give me like oven mitts. You said you're going to give me oven mitts for my birthday.
So I don't hate the idea of ever giving a gift if it is like, especially if it's something someone like doesn't or wouldn't normally buy on their own and you happen to think of it. If it's like organic, then fine. But I hate the idea of like, oh, it's blah day and I came out of a vagina while someone pooped a little bit. And on this day, X amount of years ago, people poop when they give birth, Alex. That's aware. Science. Okay. It's like 32 and 6. All right. The poop goes in, the baby comes out.
Science,
sometimes they both come out. Yeah. It's just science. You can't argue that. So anyway, or can't explain that, excuse me. Got to get my old politic quotes correct. Fuck, I just totally lost my train of thought. Babies pooping? What the fuck was I talking about? Gifts.
You're talking about gifts.
So goddamn, I totally blanked for a second. So I was just thinking about babies and pooping moms. It's hot shit. But so I don't know. The gifts are like fine if it's just something you think of organically. But when it's just like, oh, it's Christmas. Oh, it's my birthday. Oh, it's Mother's Day. Oh, I hate all that arbitrary. I have to give you a gift. If I happen,
you don't like to be put up to it.
Yeah, if you and I have a good relationship and I happen to think about something that makes me think of you, which is not often because I'm a narcissist, but when I do and it's organic and it occurs, I feel good about it because I'm like, oh, they'll like this thing, and I can recognize the same thing on the flip side. But there are people in my family, like my mom and my brother, and basically everyone in my family but me. And my dad. My dad's kind of the same as me. We're just kind of like, I don't know, what the fuck ever. Like, give me something small. Don't be too crazy about it. Or like, but like my mom is like every year she's trying to get us gifts for Christmas, and I'm just like, Mom, I'm fucking 34. Like, you don't have to get me gifts. And every year she's just like, and at the end of the day, it's like the last couple of years, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Makes my mom happy. I'm happy to get some gifts. She spends way too much fucking money on all of us. It's absurd. Capitalism is a motherfucker. And
capitalism is
Well, and I'm always on the capitalist side, even though I wouldn't describe myself as a capitalist of such. But like,
thank God.
I don't. We've talked about though. I do think it has some merits. Like we've had some pizza conversations about it. I don't think it's a totally pointless, awful thing in all forms. I guess I would say for me, I am definitively against late stage capitalism.
Where we are now.
Yeah. or if not where we are now, where we are certainly on the cusp of. I think I would also. I mean,
if we say that we're on the cusp of, we must also include that we are on a trajectory. an unerring path that will lead us towards.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Okay,
but I don't hate the capitalism up to a certain point as much as I know you do. But the reason I bring that up is because despite that, while there are elements of it that, you know, I was going to vote for Bernie and all that, you know, again, I'm now like, you know, I think
voted for Obama a third time, right?
It's I would have, yeah. He could bomb all of the fucking, he could drone bomb people and it would be awful. But goddamn, everything else sure was better.
If he wasn't just so nice.
If I close my eyes and just listen to how good he is at talking, I don't have to think about all of the innocent
war
people
crimes.
with drones. But oh god, we're so woke. But anyway, where it's gotten to is like kind of more my problem with it. But my point is, there are things earlier on we've talked about that like I don't hate so much about like early parts of capitalism. So I'm not as like horrible about it as you. And yet, Christmas is like the embodiment of it. And I hate it so much, like more than even, I don't know, a lot of things. Like I can see merit to like shitty Wall Street capitalism. It's awful. And there's like really bad, horrible downsides to it. But I can see how like there are ways that has like, evil incarnate. People die. No. Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's evil. It's awful.
The wheel of capitalism is like with the blood of.
Absolutely.
The first one. Go ahead.
So there, yeah. So, but my point is, I can see that I see no benefit to Christmas because it's like the shittiest part of both worlds. At least there's some element of like, well, however many people we bomb with drones, you know. Look how much money we're making over here, and all these nice people can live so well if we just ignore the people that are bombed with the drones.
Look at line go up over here, yeah.
Christmas is only drone bombing. There is no, and everyone's like, don't you feel good giving gifts and getting gifts? I mean, most of the time, no. Most of the time,
You're missing that
people give me gifts, and I'm just like, you don't know what to get me because I'm a weird nerd. And so then the only way I get gifts, and this is what I do with my mom, and I like it a lot because my mom just buys me things basically once a year, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm an adult. This shouldn't be happening, but I've given up. Dude, no, I was trying pretty hard for a couple of years. I was like, Mom, no more. I'm done. We're done with this. And then like it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I was just like, dude, all I'm doing is making my mom sad. I'm not it literally makes her happy to do this. So fuck it. But I don't try that hard. I get everybody like little piddly shit. If I get something good, great. But I don't lose sleep anymore about gifts. I hate that. It's stupid. And like, but there are people who like, sometimes they just gift you a burden, man. They just gift you the burden of not being able to throw away this shit that you don't want.
I can't wait to gift you a burden. I'm looking for I'm waiting for the calendar to tell me when to do it.
Dude, I've been gifted some burdens and they're never bad. I don't want to like make it sound like, oh, woe is me. But like sometimes people give you like, they give you like something that like isn't, it's not bad. You don't hate them. Like they wanted to give it to you because they care for you, right?
Like you, yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. But now I have this thing, my mom got me 2 gifts when she went away to Chile like last year before COVID existed or whatever. And one was like a fantastic gift and the other was like the kind of burden gift. And they both came from a good place and I am very happy. But this is a good example. This is what I'll give you as an example. So the first gift she got me is when I was staying with my mom and everything was awful because my relationship imploded and I lived with my parents as an adult for X amount of time, which is a thing. Don't ever do it. I don't recommend it. But I had to do that because housing and things. My mom had this jelly. She had this jelly and I was like looking for an apartment and I was staying with my parents and my mom was like, oh, here's this jelly. I'm going to make like a fucking toast thing for breakfast. And I was like, this jelly is the bomb, Mom. What is this fucking jelly? I fucking love this jelly. And my mom, because she loves me and is a loving parent and a good, normal person who has empathy and feelings, unlike me, she would get really excited to like give me this jelly and make like breakfast because she knew I fucking loved this jelly. And she would come home sometimes and be like, oh, I saw we were out of that jelly. I got you the jelly. And I'd be like, Mom, you're just the best. Like, I love you so much.
Yeah.
So they quit selling that fucking jelly. They quit selling it. And like,
there's capitalism at work.
So I found that jelly at like another supermarket. And then that one quit carrying it and they were out of it. And it was like a year. So then my mom goes to Chile and she comes back and she's like, I got you some presents. And I was like, oh, sweet. And the first thing she got me, she was like, look what I fucking found. It's the fucking jelly. They still sell it in South America. Isn't that wild? And I was like, what the fuck? She got me 4 things of this jelly. I was like, this is like the best gift ever because I can't get now that jelly anywhere. Jelly again, yeah. I hadn't had it for like a year. It was the best gift ever. So that's like the best gift. But then she also got me 2 like paintings. And they weren't
wonderful. I'm so excited.
They weren't bad paintings. And in fact, I think the place that she was coming from when getting me the paintings was a very good place, which is that she knew like generally what I like. And it was like sort of a abstract minimalist. They were good paintings. They just weren't paintings that I wanted to hang up on my walls. But like, I didn't dislike them. Do you know what I mean? But like, and so, but then what happens is then you get them and you're like,
I better put this up on the wall.
I never did. She asked me about it later. I feel my mom will probably listen to this podcast later and think I'm a total asshole. But like they're, I think I still have them. I don't even want to say like they're not even bad paintings. They're good paintings. I just don't want to hang them up.
Was either of them by chance a painting of an albatross around your neck?
So anyway,
that would just
sometimes people give you gifts like that, and all they, from my experience, and this is probably just because I am a narcissist who's incapable of empathy, but like all I see it as is like they're just giving me this thing that like I don't know how to see it any other way because all that happens is my brain is like, oh no, I have to like deal with this, and I've gotten other gifts like that over the years. So anyway, that's why Christmas is awful. I like the rest of Christmas.
That's one reason why Christmas is awful. Yeah.
Well, that capitalist part of it is awful because it's just you're just spending all this money that like you could have just not spent or spent on yourself. Why are we doing it? Can't we just buy? But I tell you what I love about Christmas. I fucking love going over to my family's house, which we probably won't do this year. Yeah. But yeah, dude, my mom makes all this all this food that's so good. Like all the mom meals. Does your mom have mom meals or is it just your dad?
My dad is the cook guy. Chef.
So my mom has all these little things. She's got, and I wouldn't describe my mom as like a chef per se, but she has like certain meals that she makes that are just like, I don't know, they're just mom meals. They just taste so fucking good. I'll never not love eating them. And I fucking love going over there, getting the mom meals, hanging out with my family and just shooting the shit. That's fun. And opening presents is fun if we don't all, and we've gotten better at it over the years. You know, like the last couple of years, it hasn't been so awful.
You gotta find your rhythm.
Yeah, but like there's definitely a point where people just go way too hard and it's just like we don't need to anyway. So we're supposed to talk about Halloween, but that's another holiday.
We don't have to. Fuck Halloween.
Fuck Halloween. No, we got Halloween talks. We got Halloween talks. Halloween, but that's, do you love Christmas though? Are you are you a Christmas lover?
So I feel like I give bad gifts, but I don't feel like I give bad gifts when I'm getting them. I don't like go to the dollar store and see a cheese grater and think, oh, Jen would just love that. I'm going to get Jen a cheese grater. I'm not dumb.
Sure.
But I feel like when I get home and I've wrapped it and she's unwrapping it on Christmas, it's a cheese grater. And it's like, oh, damn, I screwed up. I don't like that. And
I hate that feeling. I hate that stupid pressure that's what I mean. Like, I would rather just,
I gave her a cheese grater.
I would rather just not do it. That was like one of the worst things about being in a relationship is like, I remember I did some really bad and really good like gifts in hindsight. You know, I'm not good at gift giving. There were a couple that were good and heartfelt and cool. And there were a couple that were just like fucking weird and stupid, but it's because of that whole, like, why do we need to, can't we just spend time together and enjoy the fact that we exist in this hellscape of a world where Jupiter redirects comets away from us and all that? Can we talk about some astro fucking physics at some point?
Shout outs to Jupiter.
Shout outs to fucking Jupiter. Y'all don't know how good we have it.
What a
we have to pin that. We have to pin that. Somehow we'll tie it into Halloween. But
let me say my other thing that I don't like about Christmas. I am very grateful, and if you get me literally anything, I will be so glad. This is not like to you, but like if one were to give me a gift. Just the act of having given me a gift is enough to trigger a response of gratitude in me. But I have this face and it stays about like this, like my entire life. And like, I don't know if I had like a heat stroke or something as a kid, but like my smile's kind of crooked. And so like,
no, you're
I can't
all eyes.
Smile.
You're all eyes. Because when you get excited that I do something in like a fighting game, you go, Will, and then your eyes get really big.
Yeah, well, it's because I can't do my mouth in a way that makes people think that I'm emoting. So Jen will give me some fucking
like me with the
gifts.
Spock sign with one.
Yeah,
your muscles just don't.
No, Well, Jen will give me some fucking baller gifts, and I'll be like, wow, Jen, thank you so much. I appreciate this. This is so thoughtful of you. And she'll be like, are you fucking kidding me? I worked so hard, and that's the response. And apparently,
you have
my response
erectile dysfunction of the mouth.
Yep.
You want to participate and show that you're excited, but you just oh no, ED of the mouth
tragic.
That is tragic, dude. Lex came down with a tragic case of EDM, and then they were like, that cool dance music, and you were just like, yes,
Darude Sandstorm.
I could totally see Jen being really pissed though that you didn't appropriately cherish something that she got you.
I do it to everybody. It's not her fault. Anytime someone gives me a gift, I'm always like, damn, that was just so thoughtful of them. And what comes out is like, wow.
That's kind of surprising to me though, because you're such a, I don't know that I would take it that way. Although I've never given you a gift, I don't think.
Yeah, you watch out. You give me those oven mitts, and I'm going to be like, I'll use these to get things out of hot places.
See,
and you'll think I'm just pulling your leg.
I don't think I will though. I think we might have an understanding, because why does every gift have to be like
an emotional
this? Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
This oven mitt made me think.
We're going into okay. There was this thing that would happen. Okay, so my ex's mom was like, I mean, I say I'm a narcissist, but she was like an actual narcissist. Okay, like an actual real life narcissist, like the ones where like you don't know what they are if you've never met one, and then later on you like put the pieces together and understand it. But like one of those parents who like needs to keep inserting themselves into their kids' lives, and not in like a loving way, but in a way that like they are no longer the focus of attention. So the parent is acting like a child and like creating drama and doing all these things. So so that was just a constant thing. I mean, like it was always like, what's going on with her mom and blah, blah, blah. And like, I didn't realize till years later, I was like, oh my God, she's a fucking narcissist. Like literally. So one of the things that I have like still like recurring nightmares of being in this situation is like one of the first times I did Christmas with my ex. We were together for 10 years. So there were a lot of Christmases. They got better, but not a lot better. Oh my God. It was like one of the first Christmases. She was like, okay, so we're going to all sit around and we're going to open up these gifts, but you have to look at me when you open the gift. You can't look at the gift. You have to look at me because I want to see your face. And I was just like I thought she was fucking joking, but it was like, if you weren't looking at her so she couldn't like drink in your life essence while you opened these gifts, are you sure it was like a problem?
An emotional vampire? Are you positive?
I mean, I think that's literally what a narcissist is. So, I mean, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I'm like a funny, fun narcissist. Like deep down, I am a real person somewhere in there. People know. You've got to crack away at it. I try to make myself a dead alien robot with no, because it's you know, it's life is easier that way. And and I think you can just be more logical and objective, and I think that's good. I am the new generation of Star Trek fans represent. I'm the new generation of Vulcan, which is to say that they are societally resistant to emotion because of societal reasons, whereas like the original of Spock is like, I don't have any emotions, but like they really So anyway, but dude, that shit, it's one of the most awkward things I've ever experienced in my entire life, and everybody around is like walking on eggshells because she could get pissed at any moment because somebody doesn't like their gift enough. The whole thing is about and then it's like, oh, do you not like that? And then it's like, no, it's fine. And you're trying to just be like, it's fine. I just want to stop. And
no,
then
it's good.
She's like, no, it clearly isn't. I saw it on your face. We're going to return it. It's going to be, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want any of this. I don't want to like.
The last thing I want you to do is return it and give me a second
stop.
Thing.
Just let me leave. Like, oh my God. So that.
Just let me leave.
Dude, God, that shit was the worst. So Christmas is awful.
Christmas, yeah.
But, fucking Halloween, Hocus
Halloween,
Pocus.
Though,
all right, so
what a great holiday.
50 million years later, we've got Oh my
it's
God.
only like 25 minutes.
Lex, I just had, oh my God, I'm not recording anxiety again, but I am.
You are recording? Okay. Oh, thank God.
It hasn't happened yet because they've all been like, but if you guys ever don't get a podcast, it'll probably be because of that.
That's why.
That's probably going to be why. But anyway, so Halloween. So I'm just going to give you, we're going to start with, I like Halloween a lot, I'm going to say, first of all. And we're going to tie it in, though, with the COVIDs, because how could we not?
Oh, sure.
And we'll work backwards.
We have to, yeah.
So I feel like everybody likes Halloween more as they get older, because it's like the most fun holiday. You can go out, and then like you can potentially fuck people because everyone's really slutty. So that's like a factor. I mean, if you're a weirdo who's like in a relationship like you are, then whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I think everybody likes, everybody likes that. Like, it's like, oh, I can go out and I can, or even if you're not going to fuck people, you can like be slutty in a costume and it's excusable. I think everybody likes that.
Slutty pumpkin.
You either like doing that or you like watching it. And then there's people who don't have any
spectator sport.
Yeah, it's a spectator sport. I think there's people who don't have any sexual interest in Halloween, but you know, those people are fucking weird. We're not going to talk about them. But like,
shout outs to A2.
Shout outs to A2 who only dresses up in very, very unassuming costumes that are approved by his wife.
American Gothic.
Yes, he and his wife dress up with the pitchfork every year.
Every year.
Did you see A2's fucking tweet about his? Okay, so first of all, A2 hates kids, so I was shocked that he even wanted to do this. But then he re-clarified and was like, I don't hate kids, I just hate the idea of having kids. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're like, oh, sure, you're like one step less of a horrible person than I am. But like, he was like, well, we're gonna do, this is where I'm going with this with regard to COVID, is like people going out and shit. It's pretty dumb. You probably shouldn't do it. But I don't know. Yeah, it is what it is. But A2 has like a chute. He has like a chute.
Hell yeah.
That he's gonna like slide candy down.
What a fucking genius A2
So that he's like, no, the kids are gonna stand at the street and I'm gonna slide the candy down the chute. And then when they leave, I'm going to sterilize the end of the chute with a wet wipe. And I was like, that's actually fucking genius. Like, if everybody did that, that'd be sweet. But my buddy Wilson, who listens to this, is one of the people who is he's going to brave the COVID and go out. And this is where it's like, dude, it's hard because, like, he was telling me about it. And, like, on the one hand, it is like, I don't know, dude. If that's, like, your thing, and it is for him, he's, like, very into, like, dressing up and shit.
Okay.
I think it's rough because that's like, we already have had this like whole time through the year. And it's like, can you socially distance at a Halloween party is what I'm like trying to think of.
No.
Cause like no? Cause I don't know that, I mean, if you all dress
responsibly, how many people are there?
Well, okay. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. So I don't know. And I don't know the answer to that. He hasn't told me. He's like, I'm going to go, he has like a Halloween. I think he's going to be Macho Man, which is sick.
Very sick.
And I'm like, I don't know. What is the major difference between socially distancing with like 10 people at an outdoor event in costumes versus like a small Halloween party? That's kind of where I'm at.
If you're dressing up, okay. So I'd try not to hang out with more than like 2 or 3 people at a time.
I do the same, but I mean, I'm talking, I'm talking about people who are like medium quarantining and not like hard quarantining.
I feel like I'm medium quarantining, and by that I mean
medium quarantining for you.
No. I think I should be. I'm pushing the limits. I'm doing.
Oh, I thought you were being gooder than I was. Maybe you're not, though.
I definitely am being gooder than you.
Okay. Get out here! All right, give me your fucking lowdown here. Let's hear it.
Okay. So I see my parents and my little brother. That's one household. So that's 3 people. I see Jeff and Susie, and I see you. That's it.
I don't know that you're being better than me. I see you and Hylian.
Sure.
I see Sam. I see Wilson. Is that it?
Yeah, but like, how many households does that represent compared to mine?
Well, they're all one household. So if you're counting households, I mean,
yeah.
But that's kind of
my
that's
parents' family and Jeff's family.
I'm saying that's a shit bullshit metric, and you're fucking cheating.
Sure.
Because the household to me is less important than the total number of people.
Why?
Because if there's more people in a household.
Okay.
And they're also quarantining by whatever means. So it's basically like the more people you see, the more people.
Yeah. That increases because they're okay. So that would be the case, except my dad has cancer, so he's not going outside. So like,
did I know your dad had cancer? Holy
I
shit.
assume. Yeah,
I don't think I did.
My dad's been had cancer. He's on chemotherapy, and they're doing some other stuff. But he's healthy. He's doing fine. But like he's got to stay home because chemo blows up your immune system.
I feel like we're in a pretty similar ballpark. You tell me we're not. If I see,
probably.
I basically, like I said, it's you, Hylian, Wilson, and then Sam. So they each have a household, I guess. Mm-hmm. But then that's usually only 2 people at most. For most of them, it's only 1. For everyone, it's only 1, except for Wilson, I think. So I don't know. I feel like that's pretty similar. You said 3
We're splitting
people.
hairs. I assume 4. That you saw more people.
No, I go to work, which is awful, and I hate that. But
that's not on you. That's I assume that you're doing like the best that you can.
Oh yeah, I sit in my office and wear my mask, and it's the same shit. Yeah.
I wear my mask.
But yeah, no, I don't see my parents. I don't see my brothers or sisters. They all have way too much risk exposure. Even so first of all, I would feel awful because I work at a school, so I would feel awful infecting my parents. But I also know, as good as my mom and dad have been doing compared to what I expected them to do, I do know they do kind of go out and see people a bit more than like I do, you know. So there's that as a factor. So my point being is I think most of my friends don't quarantine as much as I do. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I'm like, I don't know, on the spectrum of
that is the one.
On the spectrum of my buddy going to a Halloween party, is that much worse than what my other friends are already doing? And it's like, maybe not.
Maybe not.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, and I don't recommend it. But I also don't know that it's like, unless he's just truly going to like the Halloween orgy of Halloween orgies. And then,
and like, live your best life. But Jen has a friend who invited us to a Halloween party. And at first I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. I'll go to that. And it was going to be Jen and me, and I assumed her and her girlfriend. And it turns out the guest list was like 20 people long. And I was like, oh no, even if my dad didn't have cancer, I'm not going to.
20 people is too many for me. I did once
dropped
like
to 10.
Yeah. So that's right. 10, like, I'm like, I don't know.
Too many for me.
You're probably right. So I did one of the things. I've done 2 things that I felt kind of like bad or uncomfortable about during like the quarantine time in retrospect that. Oh shit. Sorry. I don't know where that came from. Enjoy that, dear listeners. Damn, I did eat an entire pizza for lunch. So you're welcome.
Nice.
Living
the dream.
Yeah, living the dream. We're very professional here. We're a very professional organization. No, I did like a hot wing challenge thing earlier in the summer, and it was like outdoors, right? And so we've done that normally like every year. And they're like, oh, we're gonna like we can do it outdoors, because I had initially said like I was like, well, I don't think I'm gonna come because it's too many different people, and
too much COVID.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. And they're like, no, we'll do it outdoors. We can socially distance. I'm like, okay. So it was like all my friends did this. And there were probably only about 10 people total. But what is the problem with it? This is my problem with all of this, is like, you never really do a good job. No matter how good you say you're going to do, you can't. There's just too many. And so what happened is like, we were outside and I was like, this is good. And then eventually it's like, you need to use the restroom. And then everyone else is like just inside, and they're not wearing masks and they're not doing anything. And I'm just like, okay, like, and it's just like, this is stupid. And then you're already there. And I was like, this is dumb. So like, I felt bad about that. And then it sucks because you don't want to like tell somebody to like fuck off or whatever, but because it's like, they can do whatever they want. They're like adults, but like at the same time, you're like, I kind of wish I didn't go to this. Because it seems really irresponsible.
It seems dangerous.
Yeah. And then I went out.
Danger?
Yeah, I went out to eat in at a place once with my buddy Seth, who we would go out to eat like lunch every now and then for at work. And he was like, we haven't done it in a while. And I was like, yeah, restaurants are open, but like they're being
because of COVID.
Yeah, because of COVID. Yeah, but I was exactly no shit. But I was like, restaurants are open, you know, they're doing things. I guess we'll try it out, because like I had gone to a few restaurants to like pick up, you know, and remind you, I live in St. Charles, where everybody pretends like COVID isn't a thing, and so there's like extra weird social pressure, even though I generally ignore it. But I was like, man, I've been into a couple restaurants, and like they seemed like they weren't like that busy because presumably people are picking things up and going, and I was like, this restaurant seems like they're on the up and up. Sure, but then like we sat down and I was like, fuck, man, like the waiter's wearing a mask and we're wearing a mask, but there's like all these people around us that aren't. Yeah, and I was just like, this is dumb. So those are the only two things I've really done that I'm just like regretful of, but they're both months and months ago at this point.
The nearest Mexican restaurant to me, I was craving a burrito, and I didn't want it to be a Korean fusion burrito. I wanted just like a Mexican burrito. And when I went to whatever their name is, I was wearing a mask. The hostess was wearing a mask, and I called it in. It's not like I was going to sit down and eat. I'm not stupid. But like everyone there was just like maskless, and they all, like when I walked up, it was like that scene from all the Westerns where they stop and they turn and look at the guy who just came in. It's like, fuck you guys. That shit. You're the weird ones. All of you are weird.
Okay. I'll even I don't even mind, like, again, I live in St. Charles, so this is just part of my reality. It's like, if I go into a coffee shop and there's a place right by me that I go into sometimes in the morning. And sometimes I go in there and everybody is wearing a mask. And other times I go in there and it's like there are 2 or 3 people that aren't, and there's employees. And I'm just like, well, that's dumb. But I don't like shoot anyone looks, okay? It's like, whatever. I live in St. Charles. This is a reality. I'm just going to wear my mask and keep my head down and keep my distance and then go on about my life, okay? But like, when people look at you weird just because you're wearing a mask.
You're wearing the mask, yeah. Like, nah, man. Let's tussle.
Like,
I want to fight somebody.
So yes, but yes, they're dumb for even doing it. But it also bothers me that they just get mad. Like when you didn't I could assume like if you're out with like Jen or something, you've told me some stories about her getting into arguments with people.
Yeah. Jen is a little bit more, we'll say, outspoken.
I could see her instigating, right? Exactly. But like, as much as I love arguing with people, what I love more is not interacting with them because I hate them and wish they were all dead. So I would rather just not speak to them. And so most of the time, I'm not looking at people.
Take its toll.
Yeah, like I'm not looking at people, but like I have had a couple people like give me like weird looks, and I've noticed, and I'm just like, dude, fuck you. Like I'm being so like I'm not paying attention to anything that you're doing. I'm not paying attention to anything that you're doing. And like,
I haven't fairly judged you as a threat.
Like, yeah, just fuck off. So it's weird. So anyway, I don't know, man. Halloween is it's going to be a big spike, I think, in COVID cases. And I didn't really mean to get on the COVID kick, but it's kind of hard not to because
tis the season. Every season is COVID season now.
So I don't know. I'm definitely I have my concerns about people that I'm seeing going out. I might have to like quarantine. Like more hard, you know, for a while after Halloween, because I do think a lot of people are going to break and go out.
Yeah.
But that's my question is like, how good or bad will, right. I've been so good. COVID won't exist. And
I deserve a break. And like, even if you do deserve a break because you actually
we all deserve a break.
That's not how it works.
We all deserve a break. That's just not how it works. You can't, if there's fucking napalm raining from the sky and you have to hide in a bunker, you can't just go out and run around.
I haven't had a cheat day in a while.
It's not a thing. Yeah, so I do worry about that. I'm not gonna lie. It's so we'll see. I don't know. Worst case scenario, I take 2 weeks off from seeing my buddy. Hopefully nothing bad happens, and then we go back to normal, and I feel a little bit like an ass for quarantining for longer, Like,
no.
Yeah, so it'll be okay. But goddamn. Let's round it out. Halloween stuff.
Halloween.
So anyway, this is about how when I was a kid, I used to do blackface all the time. It's not weird. No,
wait. I was gonna say, like in the grand scheme of things, COVID is pretty scary.
COVID is pretty fucking scary.
I think COVID is scarier than finding out that you used to do blackface as a kid. At the private school, you used to wear blackface for the Arabian Nights.
I went for Arabian Nights, and I did. He did a rendition of Deo, or that's a separate one.
Jamaican banger, and he was like, "Oh man, if I'm gonna do this, I got to do it right."
Oh my god!
I think that's kind of quaint. I think that's kind of cute how they've got that flavor of racist in Canada. In their prime minister, because our racist leader of the country is just like totally different brand, totally different.
I'm gonna devil's advocate a little bit here, and is not in support of blackface, but What I will say is that...
Can you lead with as a white man?
Yeah, as a white person, as a Christian.
Thank you.
Yeah, as a Christian. So, no, I do think there is an element of it that is, like, they don't know. And that can certainly mean, especially with someone, like, in power like that, the odds are very good that that person is, like, definitely, like, a racist, okay? And while there aren't... while there aren't any pictures of me dressing up in blackface, because I never dressed up in blackface, I did dress up as the Three Blind Mice once. I did have black face paint on. I wasn't a black mouse. I was just a mouse. That's not blackface.
I think that's safe. I think that's okay.
This is that whole thing where I'm talking about where like people are like, your face is black, therefore it's blackface. I'm like, okay, now if I was a mouse that also had like a noose around my neck or something.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
That would be worse. That would make sense. I was just a mouse. I had like, black whiskers and some, like Mickey Mouse type.
That's not even blackface.
Okay.
But this is put on shoe polish.
So okay, but this is my point. And I'm not defending Justin Trudeau in particular, but I do think there are instances every time we get on this topic where there are like people who I don't think they know that it's racist or knew that it was racist like 30 years ago. And that's bad and shitty for lots of different reasons. But I guess what my point is to me, I have like a differentiation between like a kid that didn't know any better because they were like raised in some fucking shitty unwoke household in whatever time period versus like a dude who's like 20 something or however old he was being like, no, man.
Teacher had a school.
Yes. Yeah. So I do.
He definitely should have known better, but like,
I feel like sometimes these surface and there is like, I mean, I'm not saying this is one of them because like, well, okay, to be honest, the first one you showed me, the Arabian Nights one, the picture was in black and white. It was like Jinx. I was like, I don't know. I can't really tell. Like, I was like, is it blackface? Is it blackface?
Justin Trudeau.
But then the other one that you told me about was like, oh no, he's saying Deo. Like
he had to sing Deo, so he needed to dress up as a Jamaican. Which
that's
of course
like
means
there is no like anything to that one. Where you're like, well, if I'm gonna sing like a black person, I have to like. That's like something.
Might as well look the part.
Something about that makes it far, 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 far worse.
So you're trying to draw a distinction between ignorance and malice, and I do think
that's relevant.
I do think it is relevant. I do think that it is a meritful conversation to have. I don't think that it makes it any less racist. If you will just start doing like real offensive. Black people talk like this and white people talk like this. Stand up. It's racist, whether or not you knew it was a bad idea.
Yes, but I think I don't disagree with that. I don't because my intent is not to be like, oh, it's not problematic if it's done blah way. My intent is like I do think there's a difference between like the oops, we found this guy dressed up in blackface when he was like 13 versus like this guy is like an adult 5 years ago
who's seen Fantasia.
I guess I'm saying, I think the timeline matters is I guess what I'm getting at. Like, I mean,
sure.
Okay, for instance, like that one school picture of all the fucking white kids doing blackface is like, okay, that is just an awful racist environment.
All are bad.
You're all clearly awful because they did that. What was it in like 2017 or something?
Did you have you seen the movie Dear White People?
No,
that was. Blackface parties were a thing from like 2008 to like 2013. I imagine there's still a thing, but then Dear White People came out and they were like, oh shit, it's a
whole party about just blackface.
Yeah, it's like a celebration of black people. So you would go as your favorite black person, and by that I mean you would get the shoe polish out and then do some. I
know about that.
Whatever.
I know at least
it's not
one
like a
person
celebration of
who has
art form.
who has that in their closet, and I'm aware of it being a thing. I'm not denying. Who? I know at least one person that has that.
Golly.
Yeah, you don't know them, but like
no, that's fine.
It's not anyone you know, but. Well, and okay, again, it's dumb. I wouldn't have done it.
It was a different time. It was 2008. We had a black president. He abolished racism.
I don't think he abolished racism. I don't think it wasn't racist, but I do think people weren't aware, for better or for worse. I mean, you got to give some credence to the ignorance of dumb white people, I think. Like, I'm not saying you need to excuse them, especially if they're...
I won't. Thank God.
Okay. Give me this. All right, give me this. Can you at least give me that it's different if somebody, like, did dumb thing and then is still like, oh, it wasn't a problem, fuck you, versus like someone doing dumb thing. Like I guess.
And
I'm
then
like,
recognizing,
yeah, I don't think it's an irredeemable act. Is all my point is. So like, if Justin Trudeau had not done the Deo part, and it just
actually the
they were
Deo
both
part
recent,
was while he was
weren't
in
they?
high school.
Okay. Well, maybe,
Yeah.
Shit. That's,
if you're
How
gonna cut
old
him
is
some
he?
slack on one,
how old is he?
Justin
then?
Trudeau, like
I thought that one was
I'm gonna
more
say
recent.
45. I don't know how old.
I don't know, man.
Is.
Like if he's repentant and understands it,
how many Hail Marys is that to get out?
it's a blowjob, dude. It's a blowjob. He's got to give the priest a blowjob. We're
He's
doing
48.
too many inside jokes. If
too many in jokes.
48 is again
Definitely
I'm
old
not
enough
saying,
to know better.
now, yeah.
Well,
when was
sure.
the last time he
No,
did
I mean,
it? When was? Give me the timeline.
time.
So if he's in high school,
If
he's
30
years
now,
ago.
Then that would have been 30 years ago.
Okay.
So that
and then when was
what,
the Arabian Nights one?
1980. He was a teacher. We'll say he was like 30.
Okay, so now with the timeline, that
like
actually sounds worse, even though I didn't think that the situation was as bad. That's much worse. Because, yeah, if he's... okay, that one's worse. But, okay, so we'll use them both then. That's good, though. That's good. Those are two examples. My point is, like, I do think, like, if you're 45 and it's in the 80s, it's sort of like, I don't know, like, are we going to shit on fucking, like, Martin Luther King for not liking gay people very much? Not really. He was a product of his time, right? Like he could have. I'm not saying Justin Trudeau is good as revolutionary of a person as Martin Luther King or anything,
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I do think everyone is ultimately like a little bit of a product of their time. It's like American forefathers all owning slaves and being pieces of shit.
Okay,
you can't avoid some of that. I don't think you can avoid it. And in the 80s, were people woke enough to know better? I'm sure people who weren't white were.
Do the Right Thing had come out by then, so I think
I don't even know what that is, Alex. And I'm like relatively woke for a not woke person.
Go do some homework. Well, okay. So here's a funny case, hilariously on theme. Are you familiar with Howard Phillips Lovecraft?
I'm familiar with Lovecraft.
Yeah. Okay. So his name is H.P. Lovecraft. Howard Phillips Lovecraft.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. I never heard it not abbreviated.
Famed horror writer, famed racist.
I have cheats on this because I know about the show and I listened to the NPR about this new show and how there's like white people in it and people don't like it and it's a whole thing. Yeah, that's a different conversation. That's also got worth. But here's the funny thing about Lovecraft. Was he from the early 1900s? Yes. Were people just, as a rule, more racist in the early 1900s? Certainly. Was a non-zero portion of his racism, which is very high, excused by the times? I'm going to say yes. But I don't know if excused is the right word. I think explained is a better word.
Sure.
Because it is. I mean, I think
racist is as racist does, whether it was 100 years ago or not.
Well, yeah, and you can always define the ignorance versus malice, which I do think is relevant. But then, like, if it is like an explanation of that time period, I think that's different. Because if you're excusing it, you're just like, oh, well, it was totally fine that it was racist. I don't think it was fine. No. You know, and I don't think that's what you're saying. But I do think that implies that.
But you know what you couldn't excuse for sure was his cat.
I don't know.
Lovecraft had a cat. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. You know how your cat's name is Harper?
Sure.
Which is like it's a cute name because it's got the literary message there. That's sweet. And my cat's name is Isaac. I have a black cat. I actually have two black cats, Winnie and Isaac. And I named Isaac after the character from Golden Sun, and Winnie, of course, is named after Fred from Angel. Totally normal.
Yes.
I don't think that Lovecraft was working from that same inspiration pool because his cat's name was just Inwardman. I don't think he said inward though. I mean, I think he said the inward. And the worst part
like
is that
IRL?
He was like, yeah, that's his. That was actually his cat's name a great many years ago, and like, you know, maybe some part of his racist experience is learned and a part of the product of his times, but he was really excited to tell people, yeah, that's my cat. Yeah, he's black. Guess what his name is?
Isn't that funny?
Guess what it is?
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, that's that's a scary story.
spooky.
Yes.
Woo, isn't this spooky? We talked about Christmas and capitalism. Now it's all suddenly about racism after COVID. Spooky Halloween theme. Look how on theme we are.
Tell your... You have a scary story about the Saints going marching in or something, and I got D&D.
We're gonna hard shift. We're gonna hard shift off of.
Well, tell me
Okay.
your scary story.
All right, so
I do want to hear it.
So I was at work writing an essay on when blackface is and isn't okay, and so okay, at work we have a saint that exists.
Is he like there?
According to some people. Okay, I gotta give some backstory. Alex asked me before we started this podcast. He was like, "Will, do you have any?"
Hold on, is that how your Alex impression always starts? Will.
Yeah, it is. You're very astute. Remember, you get it from your dad. I can see where you get your astuteness.
Oh, yeah. Not the melanin, but the astuteness.
Yeah, just the astuteness. Oh my god! If I could go back in history and say melanin, that would. If I could time travel, so the you at the time would probably not be down with that at all. But if I and you could travel back and watch me retcon it, it would be so funny until it deleted our history. And it never happened. Time travel's a motherfucker. Anyway, so Alex was talking to me and he was like, "Will, do you have any experiences with like paranormal, ghosty, spooky times?" And I was just like, "Alex, I'm an uber atheist skeptic. Absolutely not. What are you talking about?" And he was like, "You don't have any things or whatever." And then I said, "I have rabbit brain and I get scared of like the dark irrationally, but I don't like actually think there's a ghost. Like, but where there are ghost stories is at my work because people think this saint like does things and I don't
like good things
and weird things. This is what I don't get. So I had a meeting where like somebody was talking about who left the lights on in some building because we need to save electricity and you should have not left those lights on. And somebody was like, this is like very serious in the middle of the meeting. And like, okay, mind you, again, I work for like a Catholic school. So people pray all the time. It's fine. They pray at the beginning of every fucking meeting. They say like, you know, the saint gave us this fortune because she loves us. And that's why this thing happened because the saint was watching out for us. And I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. It's all fucking bullshit. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But good for you guys. Whatever. You know, you do you. Enjoy your thing, you know, like, they'll be like, oh, Saint Gshnarf was. Do you
actually know the name of the saint?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay, I'm not gonna make you say it.
Yeah. So the saint will like, you know, like, things happen, and the reason that happened for you is because Saint Gshnarf, she had her finger up your butt, and she was guiding you the whole way to glory
like
and
a
wonder.
Finger puppet.
Yeah, and wonderfulness, because saints. And I'm like, all right, good, you know, whatever, good for you. Like, I just that's just a part of my daily life, and it's totally fine. But what I can't handle is when somebody legitimately says that they think that the person who left the lights on was Saint Gshnarf. And I'm just like, this is like a very serious suggestion in the middle of the meeting. And I like actually interrupted and I was like, I'm sorry. No, we're not going to talk about, how this fucking saint who is like the creator and originator of our whole order and all of the saintliness and holiness, and she's done all these things. She's got nothing better to do. She's fucking tootling around room to room, giggling, turning lights on because she's got nothing better to do in the afterlife. Like, fuck that. Absolutely not.
Oh,
like, what are we gonna say next? Like,
it's not an issue of atheism here. This is like purely the motivation of the spirit. Like you can't get into the mindset.
It's absurd. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Well, because at least if they're in the mindset of like their spooky ghost person is like honking their butt to make them do good things. Okay, that's equally as stupid. It's equal. Yeah. Like you do.
No. But that's in character for the ghost.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Okay. We are on the same page.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So like at least it's consistent with like
the
whatever the
Yeah.
fuck. Yeah, their lore is dumb and stupid and not a thing, and it's fucking absolutely stupid. But at least it's like fine, you stick with what you got. When you're just like, oh no, man, I think she's running around playing tricks on people. I'm just like, shut up.
She's doing pranks. Is she the patron saint of pranks?
No, she's
and
like
having a good time.
No, she's like a boring old nun lady who did nun things, and that's it. And so the other one they'll do is they'll be like, "Oh, were you up in?" There's an area of our school where like the nuns used to stay, and they'll go up to the Geschnarfel area, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear all the weird noises?" And I'll just be like, the feral squirrels that live in the attic? And they're like, no, it was spooky Saint Geschnarfel being spooky. And I'm like, the lady who you guys fucking like worship and cry about because she's so nice and wonderful and all she ever did was help people. And, maybe she like owned slaves because in the 1800s that might have been a thing. But oh no, she was so nice. She was so nice and everything was great. She definitely never did blackface at any Geschnarfel Halloween party. I'm sure of it. She's so nice. But that lady who's so great, she's what, creeping around in the attic, spooking you? Shut the fuck up! Like that is just it is an extra layer of dumb ignorance that I can't. I'm already allowing the initial layer of dumb ignorance, which is that you believe in ghosts. Like, I'm sorry. If you believe in ghosts,
you can't.
We can be friends, but you can't talk to me about it. You can't talk to me about it. You can't come up to me and be like, "Oh man, I was in my basement and there was definitely a ghost." Like you can't if you.
What if I had a really good story about the ghost?
No, if you sincerely no, if you're gonna come up to me and like literally be like, "I don't know, I saw a thing out of the corner of my eye," like it will take everything in my being not to just like never speak to you again as long as I live. Wow. Like what? I can't. Okay. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. At least with religion, you have the indoctrination factor, right? You're indoctrinated your entire life to believe that this magical ghost lady who loves you puts her finger in your butthole and she guides you to the magical light. Whatever. You're indoctrinated. It takes a lot to break indoctrination. I don't expect anyone to break indoctrination. But ghosts are just some shit that there's no base rules. You've just made up a bunch of dumb shit as you've gone along and decided that there's they don't have anything better to do, or they're contacting you, or they're
dead. Well, they don't have meetings. What are they going to do?
They're going to fucking die and not exist because that's what happens.
That's so boring.
It's boring and horrifying.
Have a heart. Have some imagination.
So I can't. No, ghost stories. I can't do. Ghosts, that is on my list of like, I can't deal with someone who like smokes, but I could potentially, if everything else was in line, I could date a smoker. I hate smoking.
You couldn't.
I could deal with it. I wouldn't want to. It's a soft check. The odds of me dating a smoker are like, and
pretty low.
It's pretty close to a hard check. But goddamn, dude, if I like loved someone as much as I could, and then they were like absolutely sincere to my face, like, no, man, there's a ghost and they live in my basement, and sometimes I'm out. I'm out. I can't.
If you know me, you know I'm an intelligent individual, a very astute person.
Alex,
if I told you,
please, Alex,
this is a hypothetical.
Please
this
don't make
did
this,
not happen.
Please don't make this the last podcast.
Before we get to
35, went on a racist tirade about how blackface was okay, and then renounced Alex because
this is the problem. Yeah,
because he doesn't believe in ghosts.
No.
Shit. End of podcast.
No, you're safe. This didn't happen to me.
Okay.
I'm not covering myself. This isn't even someone who isn't me. This is purely hypothetical. This is fiction. I'm writing fiction. Okay. Will, if I told you like the next time we're hanging out, we're making pizza, and I was like, "Hey, Will, I know we did that podcast, but like, I went into my basement and I saw a ghost, and he had chains, and he said, 'Get out of my house, you're black.'" And I was just like scared. And then he started like flipping the lights on and off. Statistically, it makes sense.
I mean, most people who are dead have probably been dead for a while. Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That adds
the
up.
ghost
That
explained to you how he only had the hatred of you out of ignorance, but he was
out of ignorance.
deformed.
He was a product of the times, purely a product of the times. But he still needs me to get up out of his house. If I told you that story, would you be like, "I need you to leave. Take your pizza dough and get out of my house"?
I don't think I would like immediately kick you out, but I would be really weirded out about how I had misjudged your entire character. I would feel like I never truly knew you at any point. I would second guess my entire existence for having not realized that you were that kind of person this entire time. I would feel extremely awkward, and then when you left, you would message me, and I would leave you on red and be scared to ever interact with you again. Because okay, I'm not saying like hard, like I would just be like never again, like ever, but like it is just hard for me to like. Again, there's the indoctrination factor with religion. Okay, that's a huge factor. I have been through that. Okay, most atheists you would be hard pressed to find weren't at some point, in it, church, especially me as well. I mean, I was a hard Christian for years. I mean, I'm confirmed and all that stuff.
Damn, you got a second secret middle name?
Fra Angelico is my patron saint. Yes, Alex is laughing, but it's too high pitched and it's not picking up. He was not a saint when I picked him. I picked him because he had a funny name. And then, because the Lord had his finger up my butt and was guiding me the right way, even though I picked him just because he had a funny name, which really pissed my mom off. It turns out he's like a saint of like people who do art stuff and artly related things. Oh, sure, yeah. And so that makes sense, I guess, because reasons. And I was guided and fate
Saint
is real.
Geschnarfel-Schnarf got you.
Yeah, Saint Geschnarfel-Schnarf. But
thumb in the butt.
You gotta get it up there. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I can see that. I can relate to it because it is like, if you're still in it, I'm not gonna like judge you for that. But like, you have to, for ghosts, it's like you have to come to that. It's different. You have to come to that on your own. It'd be like if somebody just came up to me. Actually, it'd be literally like if somebody just came up to me and they were like, "I can speak to roller coasters." I'd just be like, "Fucking what?" That's and like you're laughing because that's so absurd. But like what I don't understand
feels to you.
What I don't understand is how anybody feels any differently about it, because they're just, if they were just like, "Oh man, I can I can talk to like frogs because there's books where frogs talk. There's all these children's books. That's not that weird." I'm like, yeah, but it's really fucking weird when people actually think they can talk to frogs. So like everyone's like, it's ghosts. Everyone knows about ghosts, and I'm like, I'm familiar with it. I like me some ghost fiction. But if someone told me tomorrow that they really knew Superman, just because I'm familiar with Superman doesn't mean I wouldn't be weirded the fuck out and not want to speak to them because I would clearly think there was something wrong with them. So anyway, yeah, lady at my work starts talking about how patron Saint Geschnarfel-Schnarf is fucking flipping the lights on and off. And that's the spookiest goddamn Halloween thing that's ever happened to me, because I'll be goddamned if she wasn't 100% sincere.
And that scared the shit out of you.
Yeah, and that's
the real
So it got to the point where I'm normally very good about this, but I started getting really heathenistic during the meeting. I was like, "Oh, sure. And why doesn't the Holy Ghost come in and set our thermostat for us?" And it was to the point where like our head of school, like, who is my direct boss, she like assided me and was like, "You need to slow down because you're going down a path." And I was like, and I was pissed because I was like, "Wait, I didn't fucking bring this up." And she talked to me after the meeting, and I wasn't like in trouble about it or whatever. Like we have good rapport.
In my headcanon, you are in trouble.
No, we have good rapport.
You can't change.
But she was like, "Will, you were starting to talk about the Holy Spirit." And she was like, "That's not okay." And I was like, "Okay, I understand that. I would never just bring up the Holy Spirit and start shitting on his fucking cereal for no reason." But I was like, I didn't bring this up. Someone else, to me, in my opinion, is more blasphemous. And I have like other coworkers who are unsurprisingly very Catholic who are, I can speak to because they're also normal. And they were like, "Oh yeah, no, I thought the thing the other person said was way more offensive than what you said." Because again, they're suggesting this saint is like fucking around with our thermostat. Like,
to crank your heating bill, yeah.
That's so stupid. So anyway, yeah, that's the spookiest thing that happened to me this year, and that is the thing I'll be thinking about late at night on a Halloween on a spooky Halloween night
on this upcoming spooky Halloween.
That's what I'll be thinking
about. COVID
about.
And the patron saint Schnarf to worry about. Dude. Turning your thermostat down.
Oh my god, yeah. So anyway, that's I thought I maybe had told this story on this podcast, so I apologize if I have. Lex is sure that I haven't. Okay, that's
positive.
Good. You're like, you would have definitely remembered.
I would have.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because like, okay, so when someone comes, if hypothetically, because this hasn't happened, I'm making fiction. Someone told me, Alex, there was a ghost. I'm sorry, but there was a ghost in my house. I would assume, based on my ability to associate with this person, that they have gone down the list and they were like, was it an old house? No, house isn't that old. Was it a trick of the light? Was I dreaming? Was it feral squirrels? They would go down the list and they would have checked all these off and been like, no, it's none of these.
But they would check them off in an inefficient way because they want to believe in a ghost.
Yeah, they get down the list and they'd be like, I'm sorry, it's got to be a ghost. I got nothing left. That to me is acceptable because like you did your due diligence.
No, you didn't. Assuming. That's like people who. That's like the fucking people who, as soon as their computer like freezes, and the first thing they do is pick up their phone and call me, and they're like, "Whoa, Will, I've been hacked my computer." It's like, no, motherfucker. Take 5 seconds to turn your computer off. They're like, I've done everything I can do, and it just doesn't work. No, you fucking haven't. You haven't fucking done. You haven't done your fucking due diligence. Go fucking down that list and restart that computer. You fucking piece of shit. You haven't done that shit. Those people haven't. The people who tell you that they've done their due diligence, but it was definitely a ghost, are full of fucking shit because they want to see a fucking ghost. They're like, oh, well, I turned the lights on and it didn't work. And I know the lights work. Like, really? Do you? Did you check the light bulb? Did you flick it on the next day? Did you run the fucking lines? Because I bet you the next day it worked. They're like, you know what? You're right. It did the next day it worked. That's so weird. Spooky. Must have been the ghost. Shut the fuck up. No, it wasn't. It was never the ghost, bro. It was never the ghost. Never. This is like when someone tells you, okay, here's a better analogy. This is like when you try to tell someone how to do a combo or how to do something in a fighting game. And you're like, oh yeah, just press like throw and back to do a back throw. Or press ABC, do it. And they go, I did press that. And then you say, no, you fucking didn't. Because if you had, you would have fucking done it. Like, that's it. But ooh, wait, the ghost of fighting games tootled my butthole. He wants to prank me. He made my button. Like, oh, I teched that. I definitely teched that. No, you fucking didn't.
Fuck you, I did tech.
You didn't I did tech. You didn't fucking tech it, bro. Because if you had, you would have teched. Like, blah. That's, oh my God, I'm sorry. I just like cowed the shit out of you. Moo.
I didn't.
I can't. I
had no idea.
I can't. Alex, I can't. This is like
well, you're good.
Oh my God,
I haven't seen any ghosts lately, but
I can't do it.
Between the two of us, I hope you see a ghost first. That is my gift to you.
Alex,
I would like for you to have a ghostly encounter.
If I see a ghost, I will be the first one to tell you that I saw a ghost and that it was real as soon as I make sure I wasn't hallucinating, which I probably will have been. But it'll never happen, Alex. It'll never happen.
When we started, right before we started, when we were having our conversation, what were we going to talk about? And I asked you, have you ever had an encounter with the paranormal?
Oh my
God. Was shorthand. That was shorthand for, have you ever been in a situation where you didn't know why you were? Did a thing happen and you didn't know why?
Have I ever been confused?
Have you ever been confused,
I
Will?
mean, yeah, but I don't assume. That's what's so stupid is people are like, it's so ridiculous. It's the same. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Like, this is the fucking burden of proof, dude. They're like, well, you couldn't explain it, therefore it was a ghost. No, motherfucker, you got to prove it's the ghost. Do you know about the celestial teapot? I'm going to get really obnoxiously atheist on this podcast now.
No, go ahead.
Celestial teapot. The celestial teapot is the best fucking thing ever. So it's basically saying,
I imagine,
you can't prove there isn't.
If I may interrupt.
Go ahead.
I imagine that you're going to describe the plot of Umineko, and I will take this opportunity to remind you and all of our viewers, please listen to Umineko when they cry.
Listen to it.
Continue.
Okay. You're like, hey, there's not a God. And then they say, you can't prove there isn't a God. And then you respond, you can't prove there isn't a pink teapot floating in outer space. So it's burden of proof.
Point.
It's burden of proof, okay? Saying someone can't prove something is not proof that it exists. It's nothing. It's not anything. So whenever you're in a situation and you're like, oh my God, I checked off all the lists and none of them worked. The next thing at the bottom of the list is not, it's a fucking ghost or Saint Geschnarfelsnarf fingered my butthole. The next thing on the list is just another normal thing that you haven't found or thought of. That's all it is.
Will, you know what? on October 29th or 30th or whatever day of the month it is, you could pretend it's a ghost for 2 seconds.
I like Halloween. I'm not saying I don't like Halloween. I love Halloween because it's fucking fiction.
You're playing D&D tomorrow. I'm going to show up as a sheet ghost to your house.
Do it.
Unexplained. And then you'll be like, Alex, were you a sheet ghost at my house? And I'll say no.
And then I'll think, wow, Alex must have been lying because that's way more likely than a ghost existing. But you know what I'll do before that?
What is that?
I'll check my thermostat, and if it's not any different, I'll know it wasn't a ghost. Because if my thermostat's set the same, then there's no way. Because everybody knows. Left you alone. Everybody knows the Holy Spirit is all about changing those fucking thermostats, baby. Oh my God, weren't we going to talk about Halloween? I think it's too late.
We touched it. It's too late.
It's too late.
We tangentially explored.
You know, I was
Halloween.
I was doing a WoW dungeon before this, as you're aware, and I was in there with Hylian, and he asked me. He goes, "Hey, Will, what are you going to talk about on the podcast tonight?" And I just like laughed at him. I was like, I don't know. I think maybe Halloween. Probably not. We'll see how well it goes.
Well, here's a gift from us to you.
Oh my God. Well.
If you've got a ghost story, if you've seen a ghost, like, comment, and subscribe. Sound off in Will's mentions.
Talking
DM
to roller coasters, dude. You're talking
DM
to roller
him
coasters.
a ghost. DM Will a whole ghost.
Oh my God!
Not just like the head, the whole thing.
Spooky, creepy skeletons and shivers down your spine. I can get down with that. Just don't tell me you think that guy is real. Or, oh my God, Slender Man was like all the rage for so long.
I really do appreciate, from an anthropological standpoint, the attempt at creating an urban legend. I think that's deeply fascinating. Slenderman is obviously not real, but...
Slenderman? Is he like a Putman?
What?
Or you saying Slenderman instead of Slenderman is like the officiality that you've given it. We're gonna
What's his name?
Slenderman. Okay. Do you say saucepan instead of saucepan? Do you say saucepan?
No, I say saucepan. I'm not a fucking weirdo.
Okay. The etymology. All right. I don't know, man. Like, I just can't. I can't get down with people freaking really believing in ghosts, dude. I'm incapable of doing it. And that doesn't mean that's why I can't know about it. I can't know because it forever changes the way I view a person. Yeah. Like, you just can't, you can't tell me about it. I'm sorry.
DM Will your ghosts.
God, don't do it.
Send ghost pics.
Don't. I'm not kidding. I will never be able to see you the same if you tell me that you've seen a ghost. I will never. I can't. Call me a ghost bigot. I guess that's what I am. I don't know. 2020,
Will. Get woke.
God, dude. Ghost woke.
Ghost woke.
Ghost woke.
There's your title for the podcast.
Boom.
There you go.
Ghost woke. Because it's clearly not about Halloween.
No,
it's
God.
Clearly not about Halloween. All right. I guess that's it, huh? Have I given you enough time to eke 2 words into this topic?
I got like 4 or 5 words.
Yeah, I'm 4 or 5. You're good to go. Yeah. All right. Well, I've been Metal Music Man.
And I've been Professor Spooky Lex.
Woo, spooky. Woo. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.